Since all Halloween's upon us, I thought it'd be cool to take a look at some classic horror games from the past. Bring them back from the dead. First on our Horror Fest is Haunted House from 1982 for the Atari 2600. Many people say this is the very first survival horror game. Let's check it out and see how terrifying the Atari can be.
Okay, so it's not that scary. As you can see, you're a pair of eyes in a dark house. The point of the game is to locate 3 pieces of an urn and get out while avoiding a bat, tarantula, and the ghost of Mr. Graves, the long-dead owner of the house. The house has 4 levels and a few items to help you out. First, you have your infinite spawning box of matches. You use those by pressing the only button you have. There is a match counter on the screen, so you can compete with a friend, see who can get the fewest matches, or you can make a drinking game out of it. I'll let you decide on that one. You can only see the items that you need when you have the match lit. One of the cool effects in the game is that if you're in the same room with a monster, it will chase you, blow out your candle, and make this scary sound effect. If you get hit by any of the monsters, wow. Oh, that happens 9 times and it's game over. If after all this you manage to find all the urn pieces and escape the haunted house,
sometimes, when the ghost is flipping out and coming after you, the game can get pretty intense. But it's pretty intense the way Frogger is when you dodge that car for a split second. This game is not scary. A little fun, but not scary. Let's check out Halloween from 1983 since we have the Atari out.
at least the theme is pretty good for Atari standards. It sounds like the movie. Kinda. Well, anyway, you play as this unnamed lady, simply referred to as Babysitter, as you dodge Michael Myers, which the manual refers to as Homicidal Maniac, as you try to save what is known as Child. You get points for dodging the killer and making it to the end of the house on either side. If you're hit by the serial killer, you lose a life. 3 times, and it's time to pass the controller. The best part about this one is the headless babysitter running off the screen, squirting Atari-esque blood out of her neck hole. That's some good times.
You know, there were a few other games on the Atari, like Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Frankenstein's Monster, but those are really rare and quite expensive. I don't have those, so let's move on to the Nintendo. I'm sure with its 8-bit graphics that we can find all the horrors of a modern film. Or not.
Friday the 13th for the NES. It was released by LJN back in 1989, and let me tell you, it's not pretty. See, you play as one of 6 camp counselors, and each one has a different level of power and speed, as you try to survive 3 days and nights, defeat Jason 3 times. It sounds easy enough, but all you get to fight the zombies with, oh yeah, they're zombies, are rocks. Sure, you can upgrade to knives as the game progresses, but that's not the problem. The fundamental flaw is how you have to traverse the map as Jason slaughters your campers. See, there's a child counter, and Jason goes through them the way Joey Chestnut goes through hot dogs. What? Oh, Joey packed like 69 hot dogs away in 10 minutes. You go, man. Well, anyway, Jason might show up on the side-scrolling spots and kill you there, or if you do make it to one of the houses he's in, you fight him in this Punch-Out style thing. It's so freaking hard. It's game over if all the children and counselors die.
The gameplay is so frustrating. I find it even hard to look at. Let's check out some other games.
Here we have Nightmare on Elm Street, another game from... LJN. What makes this game unique is that it's actually a 4-player game. Now, if we take a look at... Wait a minute, who's playing player 2? So anyway, you play as a teenager who's trying to collect Freddy's bones and burn them at the end of the game. As you play, you fight a sleep meter. If you don't drink enough coffee, you fall asleep and enter a dream world. One cool thing is while you're in the dream world, you can become a dream warrior, or a track star, whatever. Now LJN is known for crappy games in the 80s and 90s, and I think this one's okay. It's not really scary, but the platforming's fine, and the fact that it's 4 players is pretty good. It has a Nightmare on Elm Street feel to it, so all in all, it's okay.
I know what you're thinking, game fans. But Mr. Gamer, what about Castlevania? I'll tell you what, I think Castlevanias are amazing platforming games, and they have almost every pop culture horror icon in them. They'd be great for a Halloween special, but I'm going to save those for another time. For now, let's take a look at this one.
Last on our NES stop is a little-known game called Monster Party. This game was released by Bandai back in 1989 and pays homage to almost every classic horror movie icon ever made. You play as young Mark, a ball player who is taken to another world by a winged gargoyle monster thing named Bert.
I swear, gamers, I'm not making this up. I can't make this up.
Only Mark and his trusty bat can defeat the darkness and rid Bert's world of these things. How you battle the hordes of monsters is pretty much smacking their own attacks back at them like so. Sometimes you find these pills and you turn into Bert and fly around and shoot lasers. Now the game itself is pretty weird, but it's a ton of fun. I mean, look at this stuff. The enemies range from classic horror icons to Japanese urban legends like the Jinmenkin, the human-faced dogs. I know, it's weird. My childhood friend got a hold of this game back when it was released, and we both were in shock with the amount of blood and the overall dark presence in the game. I mean, Nintendo always censored licensed games to protect our fragile little minds. Mortal Kombat. This game has a huge following in the retro world, but most mainstreamers have never heard of it. Let me tell you, game fans, this is a must-have.
That's about all I have for you this episode, but stay tuned, my pretties, because next time we're taking a look at the 16-bit titans and their terrifying titles.